All right, let's do this. This is your metals, markets, and money update for March 23rd, 2020. It's Monday morning. The markets are about to open up. Gold has done very, very little overnight. It's spiked up to 1508, and ever since then, it has been basically just trending down and working itself into a little bit of a wedge pattern here. Silver is down slightly. Again, I don't really look into technicals that much in times like these when the fundamentals and news like this is coming out. I think technicals are far more reliable when the excuse me, when the fundamentals aren't as crazy now. Like every bit of piece of news is just moving the markets, tremendously. So again, I don't look at technicals too much. I do lay them out, but I don't look at them too much in times like these. There's been a lot of news going on. As a matter of fact, let's take a peek at the news first. Maybe we should start doing that first. Um, the crash of the everything bubble is here. What they're talking about is we've had a few bubbles in the past. We had the tech bubble from the 90s that popped. Then the housing bubble from 2008 popped. And now they're calling this the everything bubble because it's not just a certain sector that's in a bubble where the asset prices of that sector are overpriced. It's every sector. The money has been just being pumped into this system since 2009. The housing bubble in China, that's that is that's really bad news for them if they start seeing this housing prices go down like this. Obviously, I haven't heard much about China. They almost want to imply with very little words that everything's getting back to normal there. I have seen no evidence of that whatsoever. I've only seen little snippets of news, numbers coming. I'm not necessarily buying that. I have not seen enough evidence to tell me that China is back up and running in any significant percentages. Okay. Let's see. And again, we're talking about the fiat currency here. I'll get into a little more of that with each video to try to get you to accrue some history on that over time. You can't learn about this all in a 10-minute video. Um, the Fed, as you know, and the Treasury Secretary Mnuchin announced yesterday on Fox News that they are looking at upwards of a $4 trillion package as a relief package to the economy and to the workers who are losing their jobs. I think actually to everybody is just going to get some money. This is scary. I don't know how the markets are going to take this. They'll probably take it as good news at the beginning, but I mean, at some point you have to sit back and think, what's going on here? You know, it's almost like they're trying to get you to believe in some kind of hocus pocus, right? You have to sit back and think about things logically and pragmatically. You know, if a country could just print a bunch of money, or even easier, just add a bunch of digits to someone's or everyone's bank account, wouldn't every country in the world be filthy rich? Wouldn't every person in the world be filthy rich if measures like these were effective? Um, we believe what we want to believe. I learned a long time ago when someone said that, and that statement finally really dawned on me. It was quite profound. People really do believe what they want to believe, and they'll walk away with that belief until someone smashes them over the head and they realize it was a lie. So, again, we are in extraordinary times. Please take care. Think about things. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to believe this or believe. Think about things. Think about what's logical. Okay. Think about math. Simple math. Okay. Go back to gold. We'll just go into the markets a little bit. The Dow is down. It opened up. It gapped down to the stop measures. Okay, and it stopped at -5% almost instantly when the markets opened, and then it since has somehow crawled back up. But the markets around the world, so you're seeing the U.S. markets limit down within, I think, the first 5 minutes of the futures market opening up at 6 p.m. yesterday. They're still down anywhere from 2.25% to 2.75%. Bitcoin's climbing a little bit. The German DAX is up. I'm not necessarily as surprised, only because the DAX never moved up as high as U.S. equities did in proportion since 2010, 2009. So, this is where it was, I believe, if I remember correctly, in 2009 and 2010. You're sitting there right now. Whereas the U.S. markets have a little ways to go. They've probably got another 30% down before they reach that point. So that's why I'm not necessarily as surprised that the DAX is starting to hold its own. It was not inflated as much as the others. The Nikkei, this is the Japanese stock exchange. I put very little into this stock exchange. It's my understanding that the Bank of Japan is doing a lot of buying over there. They have been basically in the situation we're in now. They've been in that situation for pushing 30 years. They're in another paradigm over there, and I just don't know what can be seen as trustworthy indicators over there. So I'm not even sure I look at that. The UK is up a little bit. Not sure why. Hong Kong down 6%. That's a lot. So we've got that. Let's take a quick look at the rates, which are pretty important. So the 10-year is coming down a little bit, which means the bonds are going up in price because the yield is coming down. This means more people are still going into Treasury notes. Where are they coming from? Where's this money coming from? The money is probably coming from corporate bonds, in my estimation. So, you still got money going into Treasuries. When that reverses, hold on to your hat, because that clicking noise you heard taking you to the top of that roller coaster, when that stops and everything stops and you look around and you can see for miles and miles, that's when the drop's going to happen. And you need to hold on to the bars in front of you. That's about it for today. Again, we've got the announcements coming from the government here in the U.S. They're going to throw a ton of money at the situation. What is that going to do? I don't know. Nobody is an expert in these times, and if they tell you that they are, they're wrong, because nobody has seen them. There's nobody really alive that has seen the extraordinary paradigm shift that we're going to be entering into over the next 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't think things just go back to normal instantly. Some people do. If that's what gets you through, fine. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the logic. I'm not seeing how they fix this. A lot of us saw this bubble before it popped. A lot of people say, "Oh, this virus." Well, look, guys, there was a lot of us been screaming about this. We've been screaming about this for years, and lately, we've been talking about this since September. There were cracks in the repo market beginning in September. The Fed has been pumping money, emergency money, into the repo market since September. This is when the cracks started showing. Okay, if you want to go back, you can see the repo interest rate jumped up to 8% overnight. It's usually well below 1%. And it spiked up. The Fed came in, started pumping money. At first it was only 20 billion, now it's 30 billion, that's 50 billion. Now it's only going to last a few weeks. Oh, it's going to last good a month. And now here we are 6 months later, and they're pumping $500 billion into the repo market. This is because banks don't trust each other. Banks don't have money. There's a liquidity crisis going on. There's a credit crisis going on. There's a trust crisis going on, okay? This is what they're going to have to try to solve. And you're not going to solve this trust crisis by, pumping a bunch of money. It's like having a bunch of squatters in your apartment building doing drugs, and your solution to your whole problem is flooding the apartment building with more drugs. Okay, so I don't understand how that's going to work. But hey, when all you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So, this is what's going on. Sit back, think about what's important in life, and really reflect on where you are and what's important to you, because these are the times that people will remember. What did I do when this happened? This is that moment. We are in that moment where people remember what they did, what was important. Okay. Personally, I think that how we treat each other right now is as important as anything else we do. Everything we do to stay together, to come together, to get through this together, that's what's going to be remembered. Not the pointing of the fingers and it's this person's fault and it's that person's fault. Those are just cowards, okay? Someone's pointing a finger at someone else, they're just a coward, okay? There's no reason to. We all, at the end of the day, we're going to know what caused this, but it's not going to matter. I used to say all the time, hey, let's just fix the problem. We'll figure out who caused it later. But right now, we got to fix the problem. We got to come together and be there for each other. This is where humanity steps up. And either we're humans and we've earned that special description of humanity that we set, higher than the rest of the animal kingdom, right? We try to set ourselves above some of the animal natures and tendencies in the animal kingdom. We try to set ourselves above it. Let's see if we do that right now. That's what's going to be important. Okay, that's what we're going to remember. So that's just a little bit of advice, my 2 cents, and that with $1 could get you a cup of coffee if you're lucky. Good luck with everything, and take care.